Welcome to another exciting episode, another informative episode of You Don't Know. You don't know, huh? So don't act like you do, because then something inappropriate might happen to you. Ooh. Alright, here it is. I've spoken about this before. This is the Neurophone. Dr. Patrick Flanagan, one of the smartest men in the world, the originator or the father, so to speak, of pyramid power back in the 60s, who also worked on a lot of secret projects for the government and stuff like that. He invented this device, and he didn't even actually know how it worked, and another scientist later discovered how it worked. And I have one right here, and let me tell you, these things, it may not look like much. This thing right here is obscenely expensive. It would be, I would be embarrassed if you knew how much I paid for this, because it's not cheap. But what it does is fucking amazing. I've only used it one night, but I'm going to use it again tonight. Now, there's an audio source goes in here. You just put in an audio, and then there's like an audio out, and it goes to these transducers right here, and they can, there's several places it can go on the side of your head like this, or it can go right above your mouth like this, like on your face, or, you know, or you can put them up there like with a headband or something like that. Okay, what this device does is it is an accelerated learning device par excellence. It's one of the most intriguing inventions in the world. And what the other scientist found out that this thing does is he found out that human being has something in common with cetaceans. And in case you don't know, cetaceans are your class of sea mammals that includes whales, porpoises, and dolphins. So, you know, we often hear about, you know, some kinship between humankind and these animals in science fiction books, Star Trek and stuff like that. Apparently there may be something to that. And what the common thing that we have in common with cetaceans is what they call, it's really just the scientific name, it sounds kind of stupid, but they're called saccules, S-A-C-C-U-L-E-S. And in the human being, they're thought to be useless, but also at the same time they have to do with balance. So they're like little sacks of pus or air or something like that, like right behind your ears, way deep down in there. Dolphins and whales have these too, but they use them to communicate through the ocean, through their sonar, you know, clicking ability, whatever it is. And so what this device does is it allows the human being to take in information, basically auditory information, except not hearing it with your ears, but hearing it in essence through your skin. Okay? But you can't hear it because it does not go to your conscious, like, you know, the stereo or TV or whatever you're listening to, your old lady giving you a hard time, you know, shit like that. This device right here sends the information straight to your subconscious. And by virtue of that, it is a super learning device. In other words, you can be doing any activity, playing tennis, you know, gambling, whatever, working, and going about your daily, you know, business, and yet have this thing on at the same time, and your subconscious is taking in massive amounts of information that you don't even know about. And one of the men, a man that works at the Nuerophone company, and they don't make a bunch of wild claims, but he learned how to speak fluent Hungarian in like 3 weeks or something ridiculous like that, just by putting the Hungarian lessons, you know, through this thing and hooking it up to his head. And so I have one of these things. This is not something from a charlatan. This is from one of the smartest men in the world, Dr. Patrick Flanagan. There's no disputing that. And I have one, and it's right here, and as an, to be on the frontiers of consciousness and human experience, I am going to subject myself to this device and actually increase my intelligence to where I'm like a brainiac. I mean, I'm going to be so fucking smart if it doesn't fry my brains. All right? So, sorry about that. I'm going to get back with you on the reports. There's Dr. Patrick Flanagan has a very, very interesting story. He was a very gifted young boy and very into science and stuff like this. When he was when he was 13 years old in Houston, Texas, he entered a citywide science contest. And this is open to all the young people up until the age of college. And he actually won the science fair because he invented a device that could pinpoint the location of every ICBM on Earth, every intercontinental ballistic missile. Yes, in about 1965 or something like this. Okay? And he won the fair, and he got the $500 prize or whatever it was. Well, according to the mythos or legend, at school that next Monday, the principal's office came across the PA and said, "Patrick Flanagan, report to the office. The Pentagon is on the phone." So, of course, he got his young ass down there, and he got on the phone with Admiral I'll think of it here in a second, but I'll put it up on the, I'll flash his name up on the screen. But anyway, this Admiral, he was no joke himself. He's the guy that invented the Polaris submarine, Polaris nuclear attack submarine. I'll think of his name here in a minute. But he told, at this masking roundabout and talked to Flanagan, they wanted to know how he invented this thing. From Radio Shack parts, something they could pinpoint the location of every intercontinental ballistic missile on Earth. Okay? And so I guess, he told them or whatever, and the Admiral gave him an offer that when he turned 17 years old, they would give him a bunch of money and send him to whatever university in the world that he wanted to attend if he would work for the Department of the Navy for, I don't know, so long or something like this. Well, there were several years in between him being 13 years old in that time, and he had befriended a lot of world-renowned scientists, and they all urged him not to take the deal because they all told him that if you go to work for these people, that they'll never let you go. You'll never get away. And so he declined to work for them, and so the Admiral made a deal with him that they would share information. That he would share stuff with him, and Dr. Flanagan would share stuff with them. And I'm sure it was a really one-way situation. They didn't really probably honor the deal very good. But this device right here, the Nuerophone, he invented this, and it was classified top secret for like 30 years. They wouldn't let him sell it, and he made a bunch of other inventions, stuff for the DARPA and for the Department of the Navy. Interestingly enough, one very interesting aspect to this story is you hear about all these MK Ultra mind control survivors that at some point have a break in their programming and realize, oh my gosh, I've been an assassin for the last 20 years, or I've been a sex slave, or I've been a courier, or something like this. And we often wonder how real these things are. But it's commonly believed that if somebody's going to break their programming, or if they were a trauma-based mind control victim or something like that. So a lot of times some of them wake up around 35 to 40 years old and have this flood of memories. What that is, I don't know. It could be implanted memories, or some of the memories could be implanted. But lo and behold, Dr. Flanagan, and he's in his 80s now, but Dr. Flanagan, when he was like 67 years old, he somehow woke up to the fact that he had been sexually molested by these people and involved in these satanic rituals and stuff like this, and his memory had been shut up. And he said that he didn't go into details or anything, but he said that he had forgiven the Admiral, and the Admiral was dead. But yeah, read between the lines. He was you know, this admiral of the Navy was involved in this satanic, you know, whatever it was, mind control shit. Fucking crazy, man. Dr. Patrick Flanagan was also good friends with Dr. John Lilly, the man who discovered the so-called Lilly wave, or the madness frequency. Okay, this is a Hertz rating, and it's not just a frequency, but it's a carrier wave put on top of another wave, and then, you know, detuned and put at a certain phase and everything, where it affects the human brain, and it can bring people to madness and stuff like this. And that is basically what happened at the riots in LA, you know, when all those people went crazy and stuff like that. They were just doing a massive test of that. Well, it was discovered by another scientist who was doing readings or something like that, and he told Dr. John Lilly this madness Lilly wave is going through every home in the United States, everywhere where there's electricity. It's being injected into the power grid system. So you're being subjected to this 24/7. This is not fucking bullshit, it's science. So it's very fascinating, you know, and this is before the advent of the 5G thermos, you know, whatever, electricity counters, meters, or whatever that we have on the outside of our house now. So it's all very fascinating. But anyway, this is a Neurophone. I've got one, okay? If I'm not smart